This is episode 2 of the Chris and Christoff show. We're going to be talking about, there's a lot of wacky things that happen throughout the world that some people will explain in different ways. And essentially, I think that's how we get conspiracy theories. And I mean, it's like a game of telephone. Like one person says something to another person, and then rumors spread. But some of these you gotta kind of think might be facts. And there's 2 websites that I use to look up these conspiracy theories for today's show. One is the times.com and one is insiders.com. Insiders.com has basically it does have only American conspiracy theories versus times.com had multiple nations versus American. On that note, Chris, what would you say is probably the biggest conspiracy theory that you would say is a conspiracy? Because that's the big thing. You could say conspiracy theory to somebody and they may be like, no, that's not real. It's a conspiracy if you believe what didn't happen, I guess, is the best way to put it. You think something caused it.
Well, I'd say the conspiracy theory is always when, there's facts behind it, like JFK or Earth being round, and people are going, no, it's not that, it's because of this. And then they say it's because the government doesn't want you to know this or that or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, so what would you say is the biggest conspiracy theory that you believe in?
That I believe in?
Yeah.
Nothing that I've really heard of. I mean, the only ones I have heard of continuously is the grassy knoll, flat Earth, Area 51 housing the alien technology, and the Antarctica one, which it doesn't make any sense because, again, just research. But yeah, none that I really actually believe in because it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. So mine would have to be the landing on the moon.
Are you saying you don't believe that we landed on the moon? Really?
As I think about it, I think about it more. Don't get me wrong, Chris.
Oh dear God.
I'm kind of disagreeing with it right now.
Dude, have you not seen all of the facts? I mean, all of the tests that people have done and the fact that we went to the goddamn moon?
I mean, I haven't been to the moon, Chris, so what am I to say? Have you been in the moon?
No, because A, that requires a lot of training that, not doing it. And
yeah, you
B,
probably wouldn't fit in the cockpit.
That is also true. Those spacesuits are not fluffy friendly.
Yeah, so I'm going to go into the Times one, which would be the national one, where it's all of them. And I'm going to give you what the top 10 are, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to talk about each one of them as we go. And I want your opinion on it.
Okay.
So the number one that is on most sites, which is why I went with the times.com, because it had pretty much the top 10 throughout the world, what people would vote as a conspiracy theory. And the first one is the JFK assassination.
That's not shocking.
Yeah, so what's your thoughts on that?
On the assassination itself, I mean...
Yeah.
I haven't watched a whole lot of them, but as far as the facts behind it, I know people are saying the grassy knoll is where the second shooter was because there was no way that Lee Harvey could have gotten that shot off twice or something like that, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. But. So some facts. So for example, Joe Rogan has a podcast, right? And Jesse Ventura came on there, and I thought this was kind of, he's a viable source. He's an ex-Navy SEAL, and so he knows multiple SEAL people that are Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
And sharpshooters especially. And none of them could make the shot that Lee Harvey Oswald made. and they're like trained shooters. And this is just like Lee Harvey Oswald was just a random guy, and like 3 of them couldn't make the shot is what it was, if I remember right. And so Grassy Knoll is believed to be where the actual shooter shot from, which then it goes into more to, did the mafia do it or not? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, as far as someone making the shot, it could have also just been dumb luck. I mean, that is a factor that no one tends to take into consideration, that maybe he just got lucky on those 2 shots that he was able to hit him.
It was just his day. He actually should have went in for a lotto ticket that day, but
reality,
he just didn't. Yeah. I mean, instead, he ended up in jail, and like it probably wasn't him who shot the guy.
Either way, I'm just saying, there's the typical one I hear is CIA basically has been keeping it under wraps, but why would they keep a second shooter under wraps who killed a president? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
There would be no benefit from that. So.
Yeah, and like Lee Harvey Oswald, like I haven't even looked into this, but I'm sure there's probably a lot of people who have. But it's like that guy had to be in jail the rest of his life. Like, who would want to take the hit on that, unless they thought that nobody would get caught?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it just seems a lot of them. The basic question I ask is, why would so and so care to do that? So why would the CIA care to cover up X, Y, and Z? Why wouldn't it be real shitty if he was just trying to get a better view and he's like, you know what, I'm going to use my rifle today and use the scope to see the president, and then he's like using it, and then all of a sudden all these fucking people come up and they're like, hey, whoa, he's got a fucking gun, and he's like, no, you don't understand. It wasn't me. I was just trying to get my binoculars. I left them at home, but I bought my rifle just in case. It's the only way I could see. My glasses were left at home. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, that would be so shitty. Just.
But no, I never care to. The speculation is fun, and like the various ideas of how or why or whatever, but I mean, I understand the government ain't perfect by any stretch, but I feel that they wouldn't be hiding that, and there's no reason to be hiding a second shooter or the fact that we went to the moon or whatever, especially since literally all the tests that we've done for the moon itself has come back that we went to the frickin' moon.
What do you think number 2 is on this list?
I would say either moon landing or Loch Ness Monster.
No, incorrect. 9/11 cover-up. What's your thoughts on that?
God. Oh, that's just a can of worms. That's what that is. Again, why? What? They saw the planes go into the building. They saw, I mean, there'd be no reason for them to cover it up. Unless the people are saying that the government intentionally attacked the towers, which would also be wrong beyond all means.
I think it's just so weird how certain things can like line up. It's like if you were to do, one of those big boards like they do to separate out people like crime-wise. Yeah. And it's like, so you see like, oh, well, that's weird. The Bushes knew the Bin Ladens. Oh my God. And then like people make assumptions off of that. There's just weird stuff too. Like I watched a few videos on this, and like they happen to have where a plane hit in the Pentagon.
Yeah.
That section that got burned up like multiple square feet. They were having a briefing. It's like out of everywhere that didn't get hit, and then to make it even worse, the government, although we're supposed to have like records given to the public on like police records and stuff like that,
yeah,
there's like multiple places that were around there where they took the footage, and it's never been given away, like the records of what transpired or anything like that. And then with the biggest thing with the Twin Towers that they bring up is that there was maintenance people in there the day before. and people think that a bombs were placed the day before because of how much the burning would have caused and everything from the plane. I just think it's just ridiculous, you know?
They're just grasping at straws because, for reasons I don't know, they, I mean, I see no reason, for the government to try and do that or whatever the conspiracy theorists say, but the
You know,
fact
the economy was going down the toilet too then.
Yeah, but there's better ways
Or
than killing thousands.
is there though, Chris? Is there?
Oh, there is.
No.
I'm sure you search that and there'll be at least 10 answers for how the economy could have been improved rather than mass murder. It's just a thought. People don't want to. It seems more that people don't want to accept that they don't have the control.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't want to think that we could be attacked from the outside, that we're impervious from all those baddies out in the world. But no matter how much security you put in, there's still that bad egg that's going to get through, or that crazy person who's going to go apeshit on, well, the tower or people.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting talking about it now because, of course, now it's like that whole Iran situation just happened with President Trump.
Oh,
so, of course, people will point back to kind of like 9/11, like, oh, they're doing it again. Like, the economy's been real good. They're like, oh my God, they're going to do another fucking war.
they're just looking for reasons to complain, essentially. They're just looking for a reason. They're just looking for reasons to blame the government for X, Y, and Z, or just the fact that they don't want to. It just seems more like fear of not wanting to have the outside come in. It's the only thing I can think of, but I never buy into it.
So, my next thing, what do you think number 3 is now?
I would have to assume the moon landing is in the top 10.
No, it is in the top 10, but it's not number 3. Number 3 is Area 51 and aliens.
Shocker.
What are your thoughts? Like, I've been out to Las Vegas, and they do have some weird areas cut out in those mountains. Like, that's kind of the weird thing with Area 51 and stuff. What do you are you saying? Wait, do you believe in aliens? That's what I should ask here.
No, I mean I don't believe we've been visited by aliens. Because why would we be visited by aliens?
Because they want to know about us. We're a species. It's like when we probably discovered fucking fish. We're like, oh, look at these fucking weird things.
There's plenty of scientists who say that it's not likely due to just physics and all that other stuff, but again, why? Why would they? We're not that advanced. If they can travel through frickin' space.
What do you think? What do you think UFO sightings are? I'm gonna ask.
Either people drunk on moonshine, drunk in general, some sort of drugs, or they just misinterpret something.
Yeah.
As far as the crop circles, there was actually people who were doing the crop circles themselves.
What would you say then to I'm just kind of getting your opinion on all this. What would you say to then about it seems like there's some really famous people that really believe in aliens, and what would you have to say about that? Like people essentially higher, like in the higher class or upper powers believing in it. Like why would President Trump start a space force if that be the case?
I mean, he's an idiot. I have no love for the guy, not only from all of his political crap, but he's one of those people that you look at and I just want to punch him. Just kind of that. He's got that face, but no, it just his reasoning is also ludicrous. If we needed a space force, then we'd be able to actually go to and from space fairly easily. I'm pretty sure that's not the case right now. So where is he going to put the space force, and what are we going to be fighting or defending against? We're not the frickin' Avengers. Thanos is coming through, and we're going to be going, oh my god, grab the Stark suits!
Yeah, can you imagine if fucking President Trump actually made an Iron Man suit with Space Force money?
Dope. I mean, ridiculous for his reasoning of needing a space force, but dope if he was actually able to pull it off.
Oh my god.
I see him in that.
Hello, Richard?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, you're on the line right now.
Oh, good.
We're talking about the top 10 conspiracy theories within the world, and we're talking about aliens right now. What's your thoughts on that?
I love aliens. Aliens are real as fuck. Only the aliens that are out of this world, not the illegal aliens here.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, we didn't bring up that. Yeah, those are very real illegal aliens. Yes. But don't you think if they're from out of this world, they technically are illegal then?
No, because they're not. If they're in this world, they're not legal, so they're not illegal. We don't know that they exist, so you can't make something that people don't know exists illegal.
What if we find out? What if we find out that later on why America is against Mexican? Like, we never really talk about Canadians or anything. What if we find out that all Mexicans are actually from space? Like, they're actual aliens, and that's why we've been saying this for years.
You know, I kind of believe it because they do make good ass food that's pretty spicy. So, and us Americans are pretty boring with their cheeseburgers and shit. So, I kind of believe it.
You could kind of believe that they would be from a different world because of their food. You say?
Well, yeah, I mean, come on, now you can't bring that good of food into this world without bringing it from somewhere.
Oh my fucking god, that is fucking hilarious. Yeah, I mean nachos, right? Those are probably from like Mars.
Stop! I fucking love nachos.
Do you want to talk with us about our next subject? I also believe that aliens are real. I was bringing up with Chris here on the Chris and Christoff show. It would be very weird for our president to kind of like start the Space Force thing. What's your thoughts on that?
Space Force, you know, just another wonderful thing that our supporters can do for us. I think it's pretty much a waste of money, actually. I don't know why he's doing it, but, you know, I can't say anything wrong with the president.
Yeah, I think to be honest, it's probably for more funding to go to space.
Right, and look for other habitable places and, you know, whatnot. There's a reason for everything, right?
Yeah, I would think so, but you never know with this fucking guy.
Whoa. This conversation is fucking turned into U-turn. Why the fuck are you talking about him like that?
Okay, so do you know what number 4 is? I did not know this. Number 4 for the top 4 conspiracies within the world is called Paul is Dead. And everybody believes, do you know Paul McCartney? They believe that Paul McCartney of the Beatles actually died and they replaced him.
I've heard some conspiracies about that, about other people being like that.
Yeah, and one of the main reasons is that Yoko Ono, supposedly her and Paul McCartney never got into a clash, and he never wrote the song Maybe I'm Amazed.
But why would they replace him?
Yeah, so what's your thoughts on this, both of you two? Chris, what's your thoughts first, and then Richard, we'll hear from you.
Hey there, Chris from editing. So, the reason why I'm talking over this clip is because I thought that he was talking about John Lennon, who was shot and killed years ago. That's why I said what I originally said, but anything else I say about it relating to reanimating the dead or anything like that is because I thought he was talking about John Lennon, who did get shot and killed. That's why. Just wanted to clear that up.
Beatlemaniacs say Paul McCartney secretly died in 1966. Theorists claim the other Beatles covered up his death, hiring someone who looked like him, sang like him, and had the same jovial personality, but the guilt eventually got to them and they began hiding clues in their music. In the song Taxman, George Harrison gave his advice for those who die, meaning Paul. The entire Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band album was awash with Paul is Dead clues. The Beatles had formed a new band featuring a fictional member named Billy Shears, supposedly the name of Paul's replacement. The album contained John Lennon's A Day in the Life, which had the lyrics, "He blew his mind out in a car." So they also are trying to say that Paul McCartney committed suicide.
Dear God.
Yeah. I really didn't know about this one. I think that this is probably heard about more in Europe, is what I'm guessing. They're obviously a European band, and I could see a lot of them talking about that.
It's like any other conspiracy. Why?
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. I mean, believe what you want to believe, but it just...
Okay, next one for Richard and Chris. What do you think number 5 would be? I keep on asking. What do you think number 5 is?
Probably 9/11.
Nope, 9/11 was number 2. You missed part of this phone call. So number 1, going back over this, JFK assassination is number 1. Number 2 is the 9/11 cover-up. Area 51 and the aliens is number 3. Paul is dead is number 4, which is what we just talked about. What do you think number 5 is?
Number 5.
I'm going to go with moon landing.
Go... Oh, that's easy.
Uh-oh.
The moon landing?
Nope, moon landing is not it. Number 5 is secret societies control the world.
Oh, the Illuminati.
The Illuminati, essentially. The global elite, as they would say. What is your guys' thoughts on this? Who wants to go first? Chris, you go first. What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's at least more believable since money pretty much rules the world. But
Okay, economics, yes. The economic standpoint of it makes it seem more believable.
yeah, to an extent, but I don't believe in it, but to each their own.
Yeah. Richard, what are your thoughts on here?
You know, I'm not a big fan of believing in the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess if I would guess who is the Illuminati, I think it's the government because it's to fuck us and own everything that we own over us. So I'm pretty sure it's the government that's the Illuminati.
Yeah, you think the government has it? So, funny story for all of our listeners today on the show. I actually was driving to Lambeau Field this weekend, and I had told Chris a little bit about this, but you got to hear this one, Richard. So I'm in the car with a friend. We have a four hour drive, both ways, pretty much, coming back, and I decided to ask. I'm kind of getting into conspiracy theories. What are your thoughts? What's the biggest one? And he's like, oh my gosh, there's so many. And he ended up going on a tangent about all of these theories and how, God's involved in certain stuff, Antarctica. And I was like, oh, great. I opened up a holy shit fucking thing, he's just going on. And he brought up one of the points in this secret society control the world theory. And what that is both candidates, I guess, in 2004 for the government, which would have been the Bush versus
Gore.
Bush versus Gore. They were both Yale University members, and supposedly Yale has a secretive skull and bone society, and many of those members have risen to powerful positions such as president. Do you think that's because they're well educated from Yale? That's more of my thought of what it is, versus that they're part of a society that is a cult.
Well educated.
Well educated? Yeah. I can't see that being it, but that's one of the big things that was brought up. Do you think Yale needs to maybe look into this though?
Well, if it's a secret society and they've been operating for how many years? I'm sure even if they looked into it, there'd be a way for so-and-so society to figure it out, if it was actually real.
Number 6, I'm just going to give to you guys. It's the moon landing was fake. Chris, you and I brought this up already. I kind of believe in it. Richard, your thoughts?
I believe that it is fake because, for one, there's only one, but there's a picture of them with the flag flying in the wind. Where the fuck is the wind coming from on the moon?
They have those old pinwheels in their hand too while they're at it.
Oh my god. As far
Yeah, they turn on a fucking fan in the background. That'd be hilarious.
You have seen the Mythbusters test, right? Where they proved that the moon landing was real with the flag?
Yeah. I mean, there is Mythbusters, of course, but what's to say they weren't paid off by the Illuminati, Chris? No, I'm just kidding.
The Illuminati is real, buddy.
Yeah.
And you
Shit.
I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson and plenty of other scientists have confirmed it with various facts and figures.
It's like some conspiracy theories kind of lead to another one, you know? Like, if it is true, I could see that aliens would be real.
Not really. I mean, like I said, aliens, I believe there's something out there.
Well, it would just prove us as humans, we're a society that can only be traced back 2,000 years. It would just prove that if something had lived longer than us and we have already traveled to the moon, that something could probably travel further, is my thoughts on it.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that there's probably something out there in the universe, but as far as if we've been visited by aliens, I don't think so.
So this is another one I haven't heard. So number 7 is Jesus and Mary Magdalene might have been married, or so say the Gospel of Philip. Really, unless you're into going way back when, conspiracy-wise, and are into religious things, you might not even know about this. I don't really want to get into it. They talk about how it's pretty much the plot of the movie The Da Vinci Code. So if you watch The Da Vinci Code, you could kind of get to this whole Jesus and Mary and Magdalene. Magdalene. Sorry about that.
I've heard of that conspiracy before.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. That's a good series of movies. There, I did like the Da Vinci Codes. Tom Hanks, fucking A. Number 8.
Well, I'm gonna love this one, right?
No, yeah, you'll love it. What do you think it is, Richard?
In my honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since you guys brought up like Germany and shit, and the Nazis and shit, I know there's been some folks that say that was all a big hoax and that Germans didn't kill all the Nazis, all the Jews and shit.
You are correct. That is correct.
No way.
Yep. Holocaust revisionism. Despite overwhelming evidence and an admission and apology from Germany decades ago, revisionists continue to claim that nearly 6,000 or 6 million, what am I saying, Jews were not killed by Nazis during the Holocaust. Iranian president. Oh, now I'm just even fucking more proud that we decided to say that the Holocaust is a myth. I mean, there's only multiple books based off of this too. Just saying.
And literal survivors.
Yeah, and survivors that saw all of it, but you know.
And the mass graveyards. And the concentration camps.
Phone numbers are on their arms tattooed, but now they're not so much common anymore, so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, they only had numbers on their arms, every single one of them. You are correct, Richard.
That was their name, fuck you.
Fucking
114371.
Yeah, 114371. Great. Chris, what's your thoughts on this? Any more input on this? I know you're already saying it's not true.
It's a crock of shit.
Yeah.
Why would anyone think that A, the Holocaust was fake, when they're A, the concentration camps, B, the mass graves, C, the survivors, and D, the fucking knowledge.
Yeah.
The literal books from Hitler and everyone. Like, how is that even a question of if it happened?
Yeah, it only has one of the most prolific killers of all time involved in it. Like, oh, so you're saying Hitler's real, but not the Holocaust?
Well, from what I've heard, their idea is that Hitler didn't do the Holocaust. It was all made up by German government or some crap like that. That it was made up to make him look bad or something like that. But no, there's literal concentration camps. There's literal mass graves. There's pretty damning proof that he did it.
Yeah,
and that it happened.
So number 9 is the CIA and AIDS. So, since the Center for Disease Control and Prevention first reported HIV/AIDS epidemic in 1981, Rumors have persisted that deadly viruses was created by CIA to wipe out homosexuals and African Americans.
Really?
Christian America taking over the world again, you know?
Really?
Yes.
People actually believe that the government made AIDS to kill off gay people and black people. Really?
Correct. They are. They do say that. Yes.
No! Dear God!
There's only one thing that can make me think that is kind of like out of everybody that died due to it, Magic Johnson actually survived. Do you think the CIA was just like, no, we need fucking Magic Johnson on that basketball court?
But forget Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, and forget Freddie Mercury and Queen.
It goes back to what I'm saying. It makes no sense. Why would they want to do that?
Yeah.
That's one of the dumbest ones I've heard.
Oh, keep in mind Eazy-E and NWA.
Yeah, I don't follow sports, so sure.
No, that's not a sports thing, Chris. That's NWA was a
I said
band.
WNBA. I was like, okay.
No. Eazy-E was, yeah. Although it is surprising the stats of how many African Americans died due to it.
If it's a new thing, we don't have a cure for it, and there's no way to figure it out other than just sadly let it run its course and figure out what works best.
Well, I wonder who brought up this fact too, because it's just funny because it is a virus that happened to kill most of the. How do I put this? Most of a group of society that, not to offend people, but that most Christian Americans wouldn't agree upon.
And they can eat a dick.
Yeah, like it killed primarily homosexuals, drug users, as well as African Americans. So we'll go on to number 10, the last one, and then I'm going to go over. I want to bring up some of the stuff that they have throughout America that is conspiracy theories. So number 10 is the reptilian elite.
Oh, I've heard of that one. And also dumb as hell.
Can you explain it to me, Chris, what it is then?
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's the one where people believe that there's a reptilian race living among us, but they've taken the shape of various high-ranking officials, presidents, and all that other CIA officials, etc. And people believe that they're essentially trying to take over the human race by, I don't know, colonizing or something like that to the extent. But yeah, they think that there's lizard people living among us. Yeah.
Richard, your thoughts? Are you one of these lizard people? I'm just wondering. You seem like you could become an elite at some point.
I am an elite, thank you, of my class, but I don't want to become an alligator or whatever anytime soon.
Yeah. My thoughts on this kind of are, do you guys think Justin Bieber could be one of these or no?
No, because they're not real.
I just don't see it. It would be too hard to mask and stuff, but maybe that's what they want us to think. This kind of also goes back to Christianity and stuff, you know, Adam and Eve, and then there was the snake, and then the eating the apple. I don't know, the reptiles.
Why? Again, why?
I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
I know. It's kind of crazy that people think there's lizard people living among us. Also, kind of crazy people think the Earth is flat.
So you ready to hear some of these American ones from Insider.com? But going through it, I'm going to just read them off here. So one is that the Bigfoot sightings in Washington, there's been 2,000s of it. They bring up how there used to be a huge ape, though, that would match kind of the looks that Native Americans would talk about. So I could kind of see it being a fact where it's an ape-type creature used to probably wander the woods, but it's gone now. It's extinct. The next one for America, there have been countless sightings of the Loch Ness Monster in Flathead Lake, Montana.
Okay, first off, it's a lake, right?
Yeah.
How big is the lake, do you know?
That one, let's see.
Because it's a lake, it's surrounded by land. There's no way for him to get out to the open ocean, correct?
It doesn't bring up that, but it does bring up that it's supposed to be 30 to 40 foot long, and that a captain, James C. Kerr, and his 100 passengers on a steamboat supposedly saw it. Number 3 on here, Johnny Gosch was abducted in 1969 from Des Moines, Iowa, and conspiracies have surrounded his disappearance for years. He was 12 years old. He vanished without a trace while on his morning newspaper run. Without any evidence or leads, the case went cold and has remained unsolved. But there have been a number of conspiracy theories about what happened to him. Some people believe that he was forced into a child sex ring. I mean, that one, is it really even a conspiracy theory? Like, that's Iowa. There's plenty of fucking corn out there. Maybe he got lost in a fucking field.
I wouldn't consider it a conspiracy. That just, I mean, sadly that happens. People go missing and cops and authorities can't find them for X, Y, and Z reasons. It could have been the fact that he got murdered and no one came forward, or they never had a suspect enough to charge, and he just hid the body. It could be literal thousands of reasons, but not conspiracy. I mean, depending on your definition of conspiracy, I guess.
Some people believe the chamber behind Mount Rushmore holds some big secrets. Most people know Mount Rushmore as one of the most recognizable landmarks in the U.S., as the face of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt are carved into it. But not many people know there is a hidden chamber behind Lincoln's head. Some German name created an 18-foot door behind the landmark leads to an open room that is 74 feet long and 35 feet high. Intended to place American prized possessions in this room, it was supposed to be called the Hall of Records. Well, it does contain historical documents, and it gets brought up in the Book of Secrets in National Treasure.
They're really going for these, man.
I told you, I that's why I had to go with the Times.com one.
Why did you go down this rabbit hole, man?
There's just way more shit that's just fucking way crazy. America.
Go down this rabbit hole.
It makes me wonder if I was to go to like another country, how many conspiracies they actually believe, like certain people believe in there. Because I think that conspiracy theories are a big American thing, and it's because we've been lied to a lot.
Well, people want explanations that they can't understand. I mean, that's the basic thing. That's kind of the basis of flat Earth. Mm-hmm. People don't understand the science behind it for why it works, and everyone's like, well, no, it has to be this because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And if they don't understand the science behind it, then they instantly assume it's a conspiracy or whatever. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not real.
Yeah.
I mean, I may not understand all the science behind how Earth works, but you dumb it down a bit, yeah, it'll make sense. But the basic idea that we're spinning on a pizza box going thousands of miles through space, no.
I'm gonna try to find one more to end our show. There's plenty of on here. If people want to look, it's on insider.com, and it's the most popular conspiracies of America. To look up the rest. The last one is, for years, people across Minnesota have reported hearing low humming or roaring sounds coming from the sky. For years, cities across Minnesota have reported hearing bizarre humming sounds that seem to be coming from the sky. In 2011, for example, many people in Alexandria, Minnesota, which, if you don't know, that's I want to say southwest Minnesota, caught the alarming sounds on camera, bringing attention to the phenomenon and sparking conspiracies. In 2018, their series were reignited when another higher pitched sound was heard in Minneapolis. Some simply blame it on airplanes, but others think the sounds are far more sinister. They believe the sounds are from extraterrestrial beings or secretive military training.
Airplanes.
Airplanes? You're going with airplanes? Richard?
Agreeing with Chris about airplanes.
This will end episode number 2 of the Chris and Chris Show. Thanks for joining us, Richard Gallemeyer.
Thank you to everyone for watching, and if you'd be so kind as hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed it, that'd be fantastic. Maybe consider subscribing just so you don't miss any future videos that we post. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Or night.